From the food to the hospitality to the style, airlines should promote their home country, and Air France does just that. Hi there, my name is Kevin, and I make honest and to-the-point, narrated trip reports about flights and hotels all over the world. This is episode 127 in business class on a new Air France A220 to Helsinki. You've got 10 seconds until the experience begins. Welcome to Paris Charles de Gaulle Airport, where I just landed from Ibiza. Terminal 2F is at times hot and often overcrowded, but it is still by far my favorite terminal in Europe. Before today, it was all because of the design, but now also because of the new Air France lounge. If you'd like to know the exact fare that I paid for this gem of an experience, or my next 5 videos in queue, please check out the description below. I want to get straight to the lounge, so no riddle today, but just a reminder that sponsored unbiased reviews don't exist. You simply cannot authentically review a product if that same company is compensating you in any way, shape, or form. And that's why today, you're only going to hear my own honest and personal opinions, because this flight was 100% self-funded. Something else that's 100%? Everything in this beautiful new lounge that opened in August of 2021 is truly 100% Air France and French in general. From the dramatic central staircase, to its mod curved glass windows, to the style of the 570 seats, to all the food, literally, it's all from France. Like I mentioned in the intro, I think flag carriers should put a lot of effort into highlighting their home country, and this lounge, a sort of ode to France, does just that. Even the bathrooms are whimsical and stylish, and I very much appreciate the stall doors that open outwards for easy access for your carry-on bags. By the way, if you like and support authentic travel reviews, please give this channel a sub and check out my Patreon in the description below. Y'all are the sponsors of this video, so a big thank you in advance for stopping by. The food offerings in the lounge were mostly all chilled, but extensive and show a nice variety for a summer afternoon in between mealtimes. There's also a bistro bar within the lounge that will eventually start featuring live cooking station, but it was yet to be up and running. In addition to the copious amounts of wine, coffee, food, and booze, the lounge does also offer shower stalls and an on-site Clarins spa. I had a very pleasant 4 hours in here and got a whole lot of work done, but now it's time to head to the gate. Our aircraft was arriving late, which delayed our flight. But given the summer that European flying had, I consider an arrival up to 30 minutes late still to be a win. Waiting around for our inbound flight gave me plenty of time to admire the zigzag of jet bridges which just add to the terminal's charm. Most structures at Charles de Gaulle were designed by Paul Andrew, who was also the designer of many other airport terminals which you'll find in Manila, Jakarta, Dubai, and more. Alright, time to board. I chose this flight itinerary specifically because it would allow me to try 2 aircraft that I've never flown on before. The Embraer 190 from Ibiza, and now the well-adored Airbus A220. As we follow this impossibly French couple down the jet bridge who could be posing for an Air France ad, let's look at today's flight stats. We'd be taking off almost an hour late and head up to 37,000 feet for our 2.5-hour flight up to Helsinki, landing just 19 minutes behind schedule. As we board and admire the really poorly maintained glass jet bridges, let me give you a 30-second history of the A220. Entering service in 2016 with Swiss as the Bombardier C Series, it saw sluggish initial sales but was boosted by a 2016 order from Delta for 75 of the aircraft. Boeing sued, alleging that the planes were being dumped below cost. The US Department of Commerce agreed and tacked on a 292% duty. Canada disputed this, and the WTO ordered the duty to be dropped. With slow sales and a costly legal battle, by this point it was already too late for Bombardier, who in 2018 sold a 50.01 stake in the C-Series program to Airbus, who rebadged the plane as the A220. To date, 227 have been delivered, with an additional 546 on order. Our aircraft today was less than a year old and features an incredibly well-designed and comfortable seat. Legroom is sufficient and comfortable, and thanks to the 2x3 layout, in business class you get a guaranteed seat pair if you choose the alpha seats, as I did. Wet towelettes were passed out, and you know I always appreciate an individual air vent. We began our pushback after a very quick boarding. Let me mention now, the service on today's flight was some of the warmest and friendliest that I've ever received. The crew were all just generally so pleasant and went out of their way to make every passenger as comfortable as possible. A quick anecdote. The passenger in front of me had a very large and very expensive tote bag at her feet on the floor. She was in the bulkhead and it needed to be stowed. The flight attendant told her this and proceeded to take crew bags out of the overhead bins so that her bag would have plenty of breathing room. When we were ready to land, a different flight attendant, without saying a word, gingerly lifted the bag, put it on the seat next to her, and carefully secured it with a seat belt. I think both cases just show the character and attention to detail that all of the crew shared. After taxiing past the length of Terminal 2F, we headed to the runway where we would take off to the east and then turn northward for our Sunset Express. The spool up and takeoff are up next. My likely unpopular opinion of the A220 is that while it's a beautiful aircraft, and I love the large windows, I still do generally prefer an A321 as far as narrow bodies go. Let's explore the seat a bit. There was a pop-down cup holder and a convenient coat hook. There were 3 pockets of varying sizes to store your things, as well as a very comfortable and movable headrest. Everyone raves about how big the overhead bins are. I guess compared to regional jets, yeah, they're much larger, but not nearly as large as a new A320 or 737. Each seat had a device holder and available streaming entertainment. I just always stick with my preloaded content though. I did very much enjoy and appreciate though what was the very first ever USB-C outlet I've seen in the air, which kept my phones nicely juiced up throughout the flight. Alright, next up it was time for dinner. My thoughts are near identical to my last flight, though tonight we were offered chicken or a vegetarian dish. The chicken dish was served chilled with a pesto penne pasta salad, a cheese plate, and a raspberry cheesecake adjacent dessert. Everything was delicious. Nothing was highly processed, and I would have licked the plate if there was no one around. And yes, I will admit that cold entrees seem a bit strange. But I'll take a juicy piece of chicken served cold on purpose any day over a lukewarm and dry piece of chicken. We caught the late sunset after dinner, and then I checked out the bathroom, which is a very nice and spacious design. There weren't really any amenities on offer, and the sink could be a little bit deeper, but I just liked that, for such a small plane, the bathroom had plenty of wiggle room. After dinner, the very attentive purser kept glasses full throughout the flight, and before landing came around with some packaged treats, which I stowed away and very much enjoyed, while sleeping in a windowless basement room that night. We approached the airport from the northwest and landed to very little fanfare since you literally couldn't see anything. Once to the gate, we deplaned and I got my first actual full view of the aircraft. Alright, on to the flip-flop score. From the lounge to the terminal, the aircraft, the service, the food, that whole package, if I could duplicate it, I'd refly it again and again on a loop. It was simply near perfection. If you enjoyed this report today, I hope that you'll give it a like and subscribe so that you don't miss a beat in the future. I'll see you next time on my FINNAIR A350 flight from Helsinki to Amsterdam, which I'm lovingly referring to as my flight from hell.